Shaitanir Rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I greet you, my brothers and sisters, with the noble and universal greeting of peace, the greeting that has been used by the prophets and messengers of our universal creator, Almighty Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Very grateful to Allah that I'm alive and I'm well. More especially, I'm more spiritual well than ever before. And we who have been given guidance have been shown the way to spiritual well-being. And this is something that's not really spoken about. Spiritual well-being. What is spiritual well-being? The experience of spiritual well-being. And the experience of spiritual well-being is an experience of awareness and experiencing of that awareness, of truth. We have reason to feel good right here, right now. We have reason to feel good. Spiritual well-being is when you feel good. That's got nothing to do with you or anybody or anything or whatever's going on in the world or in your world. Spiritual well-being is a natural state that human beings can experience. This is what we call salam. Shalom. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. The state of peace. And I am in a state of peace more than I've ever been. And I'm expanding in the state of peace. The Quran says Allah puts tranquility into the hearts of the believers as He expands them in faith. So that's what I'm focusing on in my lectures to you. That there is for you as an adult human being to experience a state of peace that has eluded you when you were a child. And as you continue to be the child that's not at peace and lived your life from a state of not being at peace, a peaceless state if you want to call it, anxiety, fear, worry, neediness, unworthiness, shame, guilt, obligation, whatever you felt as a child and you continue to feel into your grown-up years, and as a grown-up you've been feeling, you can actually grow, spiritually grow. You can spiritually develop as an adult. You can become aware of truth, haqq. You can incline to truth and you can become aware of truth and you can experience security. You can become a believer as an adult. All of us have that potential. All human beings can experience being believers if they support their spiritual development. Spiritual development is a universal experience. It's not there's one spiritual development for people in the northern hemisphere and another one for the people in the southern hemisphere, or people from different places in the world. All human beings are human beings. There's one humanity. And so there is one universal spiritual development into one piece. All of us can experience a universal experience of salam and shalom. I'm not talking about that apparent salam and shalom that's going on in the Middle East and all that sort of thing, where people say salam and shalom, but they have no clue what that is. You understand? I'm talking about actual peace. Right here, right now, there's nothing stopping us from experiencing spiritual well-being. Because our spiritual well-being has got nothing to do with us doing something for ourselves or others doing something for us, or something in the world, or something in the world being different. Our spiritual well-being has got to do with our awareness of our Creator. As a child, growing up, you are unlikely to have been shown the way to peace, salam. They might have told you this is peace, this is salam, but it's not. You know what I mean? That as a child, very few people have had this kind of experience of spiritual development. Yes, there's religiosity. Yes, people have been taught rituals and they've been taught, belief systems and to follow the guru and the pandit. Yes, they've been taught blind faith. They've been indoctrinated, yes, all that. And so we're not talking about that. We're not talking about those who say they believe in Allah in the last day, but they don't. In their hearts is a disease. They lie to themselves thinking they lie to Allah, but they only lie to themselves. The heart is a disease, that disease is expanded. They're astray, they're left to stray, but they perceive it not. We're not talking about those people who are, munafiq. They are self-deceivers. They do not really believe. They're not really experiencing iman in their heart. The Quran says, do not say that you're a believer, for faith has not entered into your heart. You get what I mean? Rather say you are religious. So, and some people are not even religious, they're just into religiosity, which is something else completely. It's an act. So it's hypocrisy, it's an act, it's fooling themselves, it's trying to fool others, you know what I mean? It's self-deception. We're talking about spiritual well-being here. That when you remember Allah, your heart experiences assurance. The actual experience of assurance, reassurance, insurance, that's what we're talking about here. We all have a potential as grown-ups to be adults with our Creator, to be aware and experience as adults can our Creator, beyond the children we were and our unawareness and non-experiencing that continued in our lives, beyond that feeling of existential abandonment and abandonment that we felt as children, and that feeling of feeling unloved, unsupported, feeling scared, afraid, threatened, vulnerable as children that went on into our adult lives where we were trying to, I don't want to be bad, I don't want to be bad, I feel bad, I don't want to be bad, feel guilt and shame and unworthy, live in fear. Feeling threatened, verily in the remembrance of Allah, hearts experience assurance. There's a diseased heart. You know what I mean? There's a diseased heart that we carry. The Quran says this plainly. Only those who bring to Allah a healed heart, a heart that is been healed or purified or cleansed, a sound heart, a wholesome heart, a healthy heart, that's what's going to benefit us. We all human beings have the opportunity while we are here to remember God, to draw closer to our universal Creator, to go beyond our families and our wealth. Neither will your wealth nor your children avail you, except those who bring to Allah a purified heart. All of us can have a relationship with our Creator, for there is only our Creator for us to have a relationship with. There is one universal Creator. There is one power, universal power. There is one benevolent, powerful intelligence. There's no different gods for different people. These are ideas in people's minds about deities. But there's one power that created the one humanity. All of us are the product, the result of that one power. All of us are because of that one power. The one power that has produced us. There is a power. It's not in this world, it's beyond this world. This world is because of it. We are because of it. We continue to be because of it. We are blessed because of it. This one power. God is not an it, but you get what I'm saying. Even when I say God is Him, God doesn't have gender. God is the unique and supreme, unimaginable, incomprehensible power that the human being cannot really comprehend the extent of the power of God. We can become aware to the degree that we've been given the ability to become aware. But Allah is, and He created us. We are His creation in His care. We are created beings. See, when you become aware as an adult that I'm a created being, I can't know. No human being can know. Only the one Creator who created us knows. No human being ever really knew, and no human being will really be knowing. But we as human beings can become aware, and we can experience. We can go from unawareness and non-experiencing to becoming aware and experiencing if you choose. If you choose to recognize guidance and receive guidance, and you choose to act on guidance. See, this is what has happened in my life. When I hit a rock bottom in my life, I was grateful that I didn't remain needy and beg God to please help me and change things. I asked Him for guidance. I began to see that if you fail to remember Allah, yours will be a depressed life. You know what I mean? That all our lives will be depressed because we'll be applying ourselves in life from feeling threatened and vulnerable. We'll be feeling existential abandonment. We'll be like children, powerlessly scared and afraid, looking for safety, relief and excitement. We won't care for ourselves, our bodies, our lives. If we're living as children, we won't have iman in our hearts. If we're living as children, if we're living as grown-up children, we won't have iman in our. If we're living as grown-up children, we won't have our personal power, we won't have amal, we won't conduct ourselves honorably. If we're living as grown-up children, we won't have a satisfying life, tayyibun. This is why the Quran says, for those who have faith in their hearts and conduct themselves honorably, if you have iman and amal, whether you're a man or a woman, yours will be a satisfying life, a wholesome life, a life tayyibun, and there will be a blissful return. But not everybody is remembering God. Not everybody understands what is guidance. Our madrasas, our places of learning, religious learning, they don't really teach you about awareness. They don't teach adults to be aware of their Creator. They teach children who are underdeveloped what to do, what not to do, rituals, what to believe, what's right, what's wrong, and a lot of it too is biased. They'll teach you about halal. Like now in Cape Town there's a halal market. How much of that is going to be tayyib, I don't know. You get what I mean? So they'll teach you halal, don't eat the pig. Now if you say I hate the pig now, not the Quran says hate the pig, it says just don't eat the pig. You know what I mean? The Quran says that. The Bible also says of the flesh shall you not eat, and of the skin shall you not touch. Now it doesn't say that in the Quran, it just says don't eat the pig. It's not lawful, it has split hooves. It is, mainly a scavenging animal. In fact, it is entirely a scavenging animal. It'll eat anything at any time, anywhere. It's used in the farmyard to eat feces. You understand? It's a clean up. It's a scavenging and it cleans up. It's full of toxic, uric acid, unhealthy for human beings. It doesn't even have a neck. So like Muslims will say, okay, we don't eat the pig. But there's also split hoof animals that you're not supposed to, other ones. You don't say, I hate those animals, you know what I mean? But this is what happens when you're growing up, you're taught religion and you're taught to hate the pig, but you're not supposed to hate the pig. But this is what in Islamism it becomes, you don't understand that it's not healthy, it's unlawful because it's not healthy. It's not meant for human consumption. If you eat it, you're actually harming your body. You get what I mean? Nobody teaches people this, hate the pig, stay away from it. All that kind of thing. It's not really enlightenment. You get it? It's not really. People are not aware that the Quran says halal and tayyib because they both support you in being physically healthy and mentally healthy as well if you eat well. See, so there'll be the halal market, but how much of what you eat is tayyib? It's pick and choose from the Quran. You get what I mean? It's not really true following of the Quran that you see around today. So I'm just saying to you that the madrasa systems haven't really, and going to the mosque and listening to that Friday lecture and all that, they're not really educating people about Allah, truly as an adult, how to become Allah aware, when you remember Allah, your heart experiences assurance. Most people who say they are Muslims are not really Muslims, they're Islamis. They have some perverted kind of understanding, of Islam. They don't know Allah. They don't, because when they remember Allah, their hearts don't feel assurance. They feel fear, they feel worry. Guidance hasn't come to them. They're just busy with following a particular way. But all you got to do is have a beard on your face. But the Quran and the Prophet is speaking of the Sunnah, the tradition of the Prophet, the behaviors, the mannerisms. No, just have a beard on your face. This is modified Hinduism from India, with the Guru system and the Pandit system. Those of us who are unfortunate enough to have caused ourselves to be in these kind of tribes, we don't know the liberation that the Quran is, the Prophet is to humanity, that we may have our relationship with our Creator, not through the Guru, not to the Guru, but with our Creator, and that we can see the Prophet for who he really was and learn from him, and that we can receive the message of the Quran, we can receive the guidance. So very few Muslim people, so-called Muslim people, are really Muslim people. They are practicing blind faith, blind following. They're living what they learned when they were children, half-baked ideas of Islam, picking and choosing, you know what I mean? And they think they are going to heaven. This is the height of ignorance. It's a travesty. You get what I mean? This is a travesty. It's a perversion of the truth. Not that truth can be perverted, but it's like people are ignorant and they're superstitious. This is how they live and how they've been living. But you know what? The good news is, as an adult, Allah has given you the ability to reason, to think, has given you guidance. And you can, if you want to, grow yourself up. This is the good news. You can grow yourself up if you want to grow yourself up. How wonderful. You have this opportunity if you choose, and I have chosen it. The guidance. So what does the Quran say happened? Adam and Eve, after they were in cahoots with Satan, they followed Satan rather than following the guidance to remain secure. They followed Satan and they descended in consciousness. They went to a lower level of awareness. And the Quran says after Adam recognized the error and he was guided to inspiration, to repent, he repented. And the Quran says, there you and your people will be, where? In the descended state, until guidance comes to you and your people. When guidance comes to you and your people, those who receive the guidance will no longer fear and they will no longer grieve. See, this is a very simple thing that Islamis don't know because they're not interested. They're interested in reading the Quran cover to cover without understanding a word. They want to recite it in a language they don't understand. They think it's about how many times. How many times? But the Quran doesn't say about how many times. It says if you read this and if you reflect and you ponder on its meaning, and when you read the Quran, ask Allah for protection from Satan the accursed, that you may move to a higher perspective, that you may see things beyond the superstition, the ignorance, the arrogance. So this is one of the most important verses of the Quran telling us what happened. That Adam, his wife, his children, that's us, the family, are here in a descended state until guidance comes to us. So some people think that guidance has came to us. We read the Quran in a language we don't understand. They're not listening to what it is saying, that this is a book, a revelation to heal the diseases in your heart. He's saying, what disease is in my heart? I'm just reading this book. That disease is getting bigger, stronger, affecting them in every area of their life, making them sick, making them unhealthy. They're living pervertedly. And they'll say, you know what? It's from Allah. He's testing us. This is the level of ignorance and superstition that exists in everyday mainstream reality. This is the dark ages that we are living in. The dark ages. This explains why Muslim people go through suffering in the world, because they haven't received the guidance of the Quran. Not real Muslim people, people who think they are Muslim. This explains why people who think they are Muslims are suffering, why they think they are suffering and why they're suffering. See, because the disease in their heart is being expanded. That fear, that grief that they carry, the guidance has come and they have not received it. They have not received it. So they are spiritually unwell. They don't even know there's a thing called spiritual well-being, and they are not supporting their spiritual well-being. Now, this is what I was guided to in the 90s. If you're listening to this recording, for the most of this year, I'm talking about me and my personal experience from being Islami to being a Muslim, from being unsubmitted to being submitted, from being a modified Hindu to being a real believer, Iman in my heart. You understand? This has got nothing to do with anybody and anything. The reason why you are not at peace is that you have not submitted. The reason why you are not at peace, it's because the reason why you have fear and grief, it's because you haven't received the guidance. This is not what I'm saying. This is what the Quran is saying. People are shocked. Islamis are shocked to hear what I'm saying, because they are so believing that they already know, that when you point this out to them, they can't hear it. They have to dismiss this in some way. If I am in Cape Town and I don't know that I'm in Cape Town, and I say to somebody, I want to go to Cape Town, they look at me funny and say, but you're already in Cape Town. You get what I mean? Conversely, if I am not in Cape Town and I think I'm in Cape Town, if I am in Durban and I'm saying, where are you going today? The next 5, I'm going to the Table Mountain. Somebody will look at you strangely. In 5 minutes, you're going to get to the Table Mountain. Yeah. but you're not in Cape Town. No, I'm in Cape Town. You get what I mean? So if I tell people, you haven't received guidance, but we go to the mosque, but we read the Quran, but we got beards on our faces, but we cover our faces, but we cover our hair. Yeah, that's what Islamis do. See, the question is, has Iman entered into your heart? That's the question. Of course, because I said the kalima, that's what the Quran said, to the Bedouin Arabs. The Quran said this to the Bedouin Arabs. But don't say you're a believer. Rather say you're religious. Rather say you're religious. Don't say you're a believer. Rather say you're religious. For faith has not entered into your heart. The question is, has faith entered into your heart? Are you feeling tranquil? Because Allah puts tranquility into the hearts of the believers as He increases them in faith. Are you feeling an expansion in your faith? When you remember Allah, do you experience being assured? Do you feel assured? Verily, in the remembrance of Allah, hearts experience assurance. Are you feeling assured? Do you experience being secure? That means feeling good, that's got nothing to do with anybody or anything. Do you have a primary relationship with Allah? Before you, are you with Allah? Before your parents, are you with Allah? Before your spouses, are you with Allah? Before your children, are you with Allah? Before your friends and family, before your boss, before your country, before your government, before your political inclinations, before whatever inclinations you have. Are you with God first? Now, nobody is until you are guided to do this. You can't do this by yourself. The Quran is required. See? Guidance is required. Human beings couldn't have figured it out by ourselves. We couldn't have figured out what happened to us and what's going on here. We couldn't have figured it out. I could have never figured out any of this in a million years. When you believe in Allah, He guides your heart. That's what the Quran says. If you believe in Allah, He will certainly guide your heart. You see, is your heart being guided? Because if you believe in Allah, He'll guide your heart. My heart is being guided. I feel it. I'm into more and more spiritual well-being. I feel better. My life gets more and better every day. I have Iman. I'm living with Iman. I'm living with Amal. I am not the same man that I was, insecure. I'm secure. I'm not that man that I was self-abandoning, body-abandoning, life-abandoning, betraying of myself, my body, my life. And, I'm not the way I was with other people in the areas of my life, neglecting myself, my future self, my afterlife self. I'm not the same person. I'm more aware of my relationship with money, my relationship with people. I'm more responsible. You can actually see that when the Quran says you are the best of creation, aspiring to the best for us, inspiring others. That's what the Quran says, that when you are a believer, you will be a light to other people. Are you making progress in your life? If you are not, you are lying to yourself that you're a believer. Are you getting more? Because Allah says if you're thankful, He'll give you more. Now I'm getting more and more every day. Because I'm thankful to Allah. So the question is why is your heart not being filled with guidance? If you believe in Allah, your heart will be filled with guidance. Why is it that you're not getting more and more? Why? Because you're not thankful, you're not grateful. No, but I am. But you think you are. Like the person who's in Durban, but they think they're in Cape Town, they want to go to Robben Island. I'm going to Robben Island, I'll see you in the afternoon. You know what I mean? No, there's no Robben Island there. And then you're confused, you're dazed and confused. I'm a believer, but my life... And then so people start rationalizing, convincing rationalization, and now the mind starts giving you some ideas. Well, this is Allah testing me. I can't get to Robben Island. I can't find it because it's a test from Allah. No, you're not in Cape Town. You know what I mean? The Prophet ﷺ said, confirming the Quran. What the Quran says, say to the believers, I am indeed me. Call upon me and I will surely respond. See, for those of us who have this immediacy, this intimacy and immediacy with our Creator responds. We are patient. You know what I mean? The Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said that prayer, invocation, da'ah, it comes from the root word da'ah, to invoke, to summon, to appropriate, to call forth. It's not, to receive, to claim. The believer makes a claim on what has been given, and the believer gets to experience. So the Prophet ﷺ has said that dua is the weapon of the believer. That's what dua is, the weapon of the believer. Dua changes taqdeer. It changes qadr. Dua is the highest level and the essence of worship. Are your duas getting answered? Mine are. You understand? I'm trying to say, break the denial. But this is the last thing the hypocrite wants to do, is to admit that there's no iman in this heart. The last thing the hypocrite wants to admit is that there's no iman in this heart. But if you do admit it, you can ask Allah for real guidance. You can say, look, I've been a child. When I was little, I had all these ideas in my mind. I had these ideas about you, Allah, about me, about life, about what life is about. I've been living my life with these ideas. There's been guidance in the Quran. I haven't discovered it. I've been living with this diseased heart. But all of us are in a state of forgetfulness. All of us are in a state of forgetfulness. I'm in a state of forgetfulness. I want to really remember. I want to remember that remembrance that is when I remember, I experience assurance. A real believer is secure. The Quran says, who is a believer? The Islamic teaching, they asked the Prophet, who is a believer? Who is the secure? He says, one whom everybody is safe from. See, one who everybody says. If you're a danger to people around you, you can scream and shout. You can attack people. You're not at peace. If you're a danger to yourself, if you with your own hands are destroying yourself, the Quran says, do not with your own hands destroy yourself. Do not with your own hands. If you are poisoning your body, but it's not haram. Since when poisoning your body is not haram? Even the boxes of cigarettes say, I smoked for about 10 years, heavily. I'm telling you, somebody who abused nicotine and other substances, because there was no iman in my heart. There was an emptiness in my heart. I felt needy. I needed something in the world. The less you are aware of your Creator and how sufficient your Creator is. Remember, what does the Quran say? Allah is sufficient for the believers. Allah is sufficient for the believers. The less you are aware of Allah's sufficiency for you, the more needy you'll be on the world. The more you'll need somebody or something. The more you'll be controlled by the world. The more you'll try and control the world. See, I was controlled by substances, needy on substances. I was a substance abuser. Because I didn't know Allah and I didn't know He was sufficient for me. My heart had a disease. When you've got a diseased heart, you'll be controlled by the world, you'll try and control the world. You'll do harm to yourself, you'll do harm to your body, you'll do harm to your life. You won't let yourself receive Allah's good in this world and the world beyond. You'll live deprived, you'll live perverted. You'll meet your needs in a perverted way when you are not a believer. Because there's no iman in that heart, there's no amal in that person, there's no adult in that person, honorable adult, there's no personal power, there's no spiritual development and spiritual power, peace consciousness, there's no personal development, personal power. Remember, the Quran is a book on development, human development, how to live as a human being, how to live as a person, how to live and relate to your body, how to live and relate to your life, how to relate to people, your parents, your children, your spouses, your neighbors, society, how to live as a community, how a community can function. This is a book of guidance given to the people at the time of the lowest place on the planet at that particular time, pagan Arabia, barbaric Arabia. When Alexander the Great was conquering the world at the time, he bypassed the Arabs. What does that tell you? He said, these people are a nuisance. Let's not conquer them. They are a nuisance. Let's leave them. And yet the Quran comes to that country and that place, and then there is light that emanates from there. The Prophet conveys its message, and the people start accepting it, and they were changed and transformed from backward, really barbaric individuals, and I'm not judging them, unaware, superstitious, ignorant, behaving in ways that harm themselves, each other, harming women, being hateful towards women, all this. Prophet gave the woman respect through the Quranic teachings. He said, if you educate 2 of your daughters, you'll go to heaven. Promoted education of women at a time of barbaricism. The rights of women to cover themselves up and to not be naked for everybody to do and have their way with them. You understand? A backward place in the world through the Quran was developed. But yet today, people go to school, they are not as barbaric. They're not even receiving the message of the Quran. I'm talking about the Islamis. They're not. They're not receiving it. Anyway, it's got nothing to do with me whether they receive it or not. I'm just saying this is a fact. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying this is what's going on. If you will but become aware. If you want to become aware, the power of the Quran is not tapped into. You understand? It's there. It's like people are blind to its message. It's like, imagine if I gave you a secret. If I told you, here's your PIN number to a bank account that's got millions of dirhams. You know what I mean? And you're just reading this number, but you don't know what it is. It's a PIN code for you to use your bank account. You're just reading this thing. You don't know what you're saying. You don't know what its purpose is. You understand? So this is what's happening to human beings. They're remaining superstitious, ignorant, arrogant. They're not developing themselves spiritually. They're not living with spiritual well-being. They're not living with psychological wellness. There's no iman, there's no amal, there's no tayyib living. They're not supporting themselves and each other in living wholesome lives. Quran says we put love and compassion in your heart, that you may take partners from among yourselves, and created for you partners from that you may choose each other, and that you can dwell in tranquility. How many Islami families there's love and compassion? Love and compassion. What do they know about love and compassion? The Quran says practice patience. How many Islami families there's love and compassion and they practice patience? Even the teachers who teach in the madrasas and so on, how many of them have love and compassion in their hearts and how many of them are patient? The Quran says Allah is with those who are patient. How many patient Islamis Can you see how they behave? Losing it. Is that patience? Where's the patient perseverance? They don't know. They're clueless. They think they're somewhere, but they don't know they're not where they think they are. And they're trying to understand their lives and their world from a misunderstanding instead of waking up. So this is not bad or wrong. I want you to understand that this is not bad or wrong. It's not right or good either. It's just what is. Humanity has been lost. Either you kuffar, you deny God, you have ideas of God that He doesn't exist, you're mushrik. You have ideas about God that are not true. Or you are munafiq. You know about Allah, the Quran, the Prophet, but you don't really understand. And you think you do. You're not interested in understanding. You're self-deceiving. See, all of us said there, I was all three at different points in my life. And so, who will humble themselves? Who will humble themselves to say that the reason why I'm here is to remember Allah, and when I was growing up, who taught me to remember Allah? Did I really learn to remember Allah? Have I been indoctrinated into blind faith? Am I just doing things as a child who doesn't even know what I'm doing? Am I just doing rituals thinking that I'm a believer? Has guidance come to you as an adult where somebody's talking to you and explaining to you that this is what has happened to humanity, that we all are sick in our minds and in our hearts? And only those who receive guidance will no longer be insecure. They will no longer be fearful. Are you still fearful? Are you still grieving? The friends of Allah, they will never fear, they will never grieve. You understand what I'm saying? that there is for us to experience spiritual well-being? Have you made it a priority in your life to actually become Allah aware? Do you know that you can become Allah aware? Do you want to become Allah aware? Do you understand the challenges that are in the way of becoming Allah aware? Do you understand that you can become Allah aware in spite of the challenges, because there is Allah as our refuge? Do you understand that you're not here just to be a religious person? The Quran says we created the heavens and the earth that you may become aware of the power of Allah, the qadr of Allah. Are you aware of the power of Allah? Because, if you're aware of Allah, your heart will experience assurance. If you're aware of the power of Allah, you'll relax. Are you aware that Allah is sufficient for you? You won't be like needy, please help me, please change something. You know what I mean? You won't be like that. If you're aware of Allah, because the Quran says, what is the purpose of the creation of the heavens and the earth? That we human beings can recognize His power. Are you aware of Allah? Do you remember Allah? Do you remember Allah and experience assurance in your heart? Do you remember Allah abundantly and you prosper? Are you thankful? The Quran says, do you feel assured every day when you remember that Allah is power over all things? With Allah all things are possible. Because of Him you are, because of Him you continue to be. Are you aware? Are you thankful to Allah for your creation as a human being? Do you recognize that Allah created you as the highest life form on earth? Do you recognize that? That you can experience being peaceful, patient, loving, compassionate, merciful, forgiving, pardoning. This is the essences of Allah. We can experience being godly. Do you understand animals can't do that? Do you understand we can do that? Do you see yourself in salam? Do you feel salam already, currently? Because you can. You can experience security. That is the potential. Animals can't experience security, but you can. Allah is the secure, the secure. Allah is the secure. Allah is a salam, peace. Allah is a sabur, patient. You can actually experience as a human being secure, being peaceful. Mu'min. You can experience being secure. Do you know that? In the remembrance of Allah, hearts experience assurance that if you've never experienced security in your life, there is for you security to experience. It's waiting for you too. It's not only for me. It's not only for those of us who have submitted and are, fulfilling why we are here, healing the diseases of our hearts, and things are just getting better and better for us. Because this is the path. Guide us and keep us on the straight path, the path upon whom your favor is always on. Do you understand that Satan stands on the path and he renders you from all directions ungrateful? Do you understand that you may be ungrateful, that you may be worshipping Satan, even though you might be saying Allah, the Quran, the Prophet, keeping fasts and dressing and all that? You understand? That you might not be aware of the power of, you might not be aware of Allah. I mean, most Muslims, they can't tell me about Allah because they're not aware of Allah. They'll tell you what they learnt as children about Allah. They'll regurgitate. They'll tell you what they were brainwashed. If you ask a grown-up Islami, tell me about Allah, they will talk to you from the child mind, what they learnt when they were little, that somebody told them to believe and have ideas about. If you ask them what is Tawheed, what is the oneness, the onlyness, what is that? They can't explain it to you because they don't understand it as adults. They're not living it. They're not living it. See? So we are here to be aware of Allah, the unique and supreme being, and remember Allah, and become and experience assurance, and remember Allah abundantly, that we may experience felicity, that is like happiness, security, joy. Let them in the mercy of Allah rejoice, the Quran says. It is better than the usual preoccupations. Are you remembering the mercy of Allah and rejoicing? Are you thankful to Allah, really thankful as an adult? All these things that I'm saying to you is not what you are doing as a child and you continue to do as a child and you just do it religiously. You understand? I'm asking you, are you God aware? Are you experiencing assurance in your heart? Are you a believer? Do you feel secure? Are you thankful? Are you getting more when you are thankful? Can you feel good now, regardless of what's happening in your life? Are you feeling free? Are you feeling free from, what's going on in this world? Are you aware that there's an afterworld that's more important than this world? Are you living for the afterworld, or are you living for this world? When you live for the afterworld, you don't make this world more important than what it is. You don't lose your attention into this world. When you know I'm here for a reason, to remember Allah. I'm here to purify my heart. I'm here to become aware. And I am becoming aware. And I'm becoming more and more aware. I'm experiencing assurance. You see, are you becoming more aware of Allah? Are you Allah conscious? Has Iman entered into your heart? Or are you just saying, I'm a Muslim, but you're meaning I'm an Islami? I'm following a big cult of people. These people are modified Hindus from India with their guru and pandit ways. Are you also somebody who has been through this kind of pandit guru indoctrination and became an Islami thinking you became a Muslim? What's the state of your heart? The Quran says, woe to those who stand in prayer, but whose hearts lack the smallest of kindnesses. There are people who say, we go to the mosque, but they are horrible to their wives and children. They're horrible to themselves. They're horrible to other human beings. No, but I'm a Muslim. They are unaware that they are astray, and they are left to stray. Your heart is a disease. Are you one of those, is the question. Are you courageous enough to see the truth as an adult? And yes, there's challenges, because if you see this, you can't unsee it. You'll see the people around you, people you love and care about, and you'll see that they're not really Allah aware, they're not really assured, they're not feeling secure, they're not at peace, they're not patient, they're not experiencing Allah consciousness, they're not feeling that security, they're not experiencing that sakina, that tranquility. See, every day I can submit and experience sakina, tranquility in my heart. Every day I can feel assurance. Every day when I remember Allah, I can experience assurance in my heart. I didn't know that this was possible. I didn't know I could have it. Nobody knew it. But I turned to Allah, and He guided my heart. And He continues to guide my heart. I'm very grateful. I'm not you. When you see me on the street, you'll never see me as a religious person, because I'm not interested in religiosity. I'm interested in Iman. I'm interested in my relationship with my Creator. I'm interested in purifying my heart. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in expanding myself in faith, Iman, Amal, having a more tayyib life, an afterlife that is blissful. I'm interested in my good in this world and the world beyond. I'm withdrawing wherever I projected power, attributed significance, exaggerated importance of this world. I'm not controlled by work. I'm not controlled by a husband or a wife or a child. People are controlled by husband, woman and children. I'm not controlled by a person. I'm not putting my faith and trust in any person, not even me. I'm not needing on anybody, not even on Allah. Allah has given me everything I need. Whatever I need, I've already been given. I need nothing. Whatever I need, I've already been. I can want what Allah has given to me as option, potentials and possibilities. If I'm not needing, I can want. I want what I don't need. I have what I need, and I want what I don't need. Now, most people are like, I need what I want. They're confused. People are confused. You can't need what you want. You must want what you want. The moment you need what you want, you're a non-believer, because you believe in need. Allah created us to depend on Him. We are His creation. We are in His care. We are already okay. Everything already is okay. The fact that you have a depressed life doesn't mean something is not okay. It just means that you are not aware of Allah. Those who are not aware of Allah, theirs will be a depressed life. That's what the Quran says. If you fail to remember Allah, Allah will not remember you. You won't be aware that Allah is remembering you if you don't remember Allah. Are you responding to Allah? The Quran says, let them respond to Allah. Or you're responding to the Guru. You're being this, this person who is, I call it a regressed child state. Are you living your life as a regressed child state with the Pandit and the Guru? Are you thinking they're like your parent, or you thinking God is like a parent and He's going to punish you, you need to be a nice person? Are you living as a child mentality that I'm nice? All of us are sinners. You got to steadily cleanse your heart. You can't act like I don't sin. I sin, but I know that Allah is compassionate and merciful, and I aspire higher. I aspire to live with more iman in my heart. I aspire to live with more amal in my heart. I aspire to live a more tayyib life. With every passing day, I am being raised to a higher light in my being, more faith in my heart, more freedom as an adult. I'm not controlled by the world. I can be more caring to me, my body, my life, my future life. I can be more caring to others every day. If you have more iman in your heart, you'll be able to be more caring of yourself and more caring to others. Not that you'll be taking care of yourself, or you'll be taking care of somebody else, or you need somebody to take care of you. You know that we are all in the care of Allah. You become Allah aware. You become Allah aware, and you will experience Allah is taking care of all of us. You become Allah aware. You become aware of what you really are, a creation of Allah in the care of Allah. You become Allah aware. You will become aware of what happened here. If you receive guidance, you will no longer fear, and you will no longer grieve, because you will know that we all forgot Allah. And Allah, even though we forgot Allah, He didn't forget us. He sent us guidance. He didn't have to. Adam and Eve refused His guidance. They never accepted His guidance. They colluded with Satan. And even though they did that, Allah is still merciful. Those of you who really know Allah, you will know Allah by His mercy. If you don't know Allah, you don't know His mercy. The Quran says, call upon Allah by any of His beautiful names. Call upon Him by mercy. Allah, you are mercy. People that are like their hearts are diseased, they have no clue what mercy is. They don't know that Allah is merciful. They haven't registered mercy. If I ask a person about God, our universal creator, a capital G, a capital O, and a capital D, if I ask them about God, and they cannot tell me in the first few sentences the unique supreme being that is merciful and compassionate towards us, that has never done anything wrong to us and will never wrong us in any way. The Quran says Allah is the fair and the just. Not only is Allah the fair and the just, not one injustice will be done upon anybody, but Allah is also the forgiving, the favoring, the forwarding, and the fulfilling. Allah is not only fair, Allah is forgiving. You know what that means? He lets us off the hook. If you're a believer and you turn to Him, He'll forgive all your sins. Say to the believers, never despair, for Allah forgives all sins. A believer is aware of Allah's mercy. A believer realizes Satan wants you to judge yourself and judge others. A non-believer, a person who is not aware of the mercy of Allah, will judge themselves and judge each other. They will continue to withhold the mercy of Allah from themselves and other people. A person who is Allah aware is aware of the mercy of Allah, and is aware that He is indeed merciful. If I ask you, can you tell me why you believe Allah is merciful? And you give me a child answer, I'll spot it. But if you ask me, or somebody who knows why Allah is merciful, and they give you an answer, you'll know whether they are really aware of Allah's mercy as an adult, or they're just giving you a story as a brainwashed child. Like, for example, when human beings go astray, Allah sends messengers and guides to them to call them back. All the communities on this planet, when they went astray worshipping Satan, Allah sent messengers to tell them how to come back to healthy living. And they refused it. The communities, most of them refused that guidance, and they experienced the destruction that they set themselves into. They destroyed themselves by going down a road worshipping Satan. But when Allah saw them going in error, He sent them messengers and prophets. You know what I mean? And then they refused. They continued to worship Satan. This is Allah's mercy. He doesn't say these people are going off track, let's leave them. Allah says to every people came warners, to every people came cautioners, to every people have come guides. Allah has guided every people. Even now there's guidance for us, but not everybody wants. This is the mercy of Allah, the guidance. But there are people who will not recognize guidance. The Quran says, whether you tell them or tell them not, it makes no difference. They're deaf, dumb and blind. They will not hear. Although His guidance is there, Allah remains merciful. Whether people receive His mercy or not, whether people experience Allah as merciful or not, Allah is merciful. And if you know Allah is merciful, then you know Allah. If you don't know Allah's mercy, I'm talking as an adult, not as a child who got ideas in you. Yeah, this and that story. If you have come to feel Allah's mercy, I tell you, you've done the best thing that you could ever do in this world. You can read all your prayers unaware of Allah, and you're not aware of Allah's mercy. It means nothing. It means nothing. You won't have kindness in your heart to any other human being. If you do not recognize Allah's merciful nature, you will never be kind to another human being. Never. You will act kind. You're like, I don't want to be bad. I don't want to be bad. Let me not be, I'm not a bad person, I'm not a bad person. You'll try and alleviate your guilt. You'll try to allay your guilt. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not bad. But you never will really know that you're a valuable creation of Allah, that everything is okay. You will be in that distorted mind. You'll be in that trance, that satanic trance. The worst thing, the prophets told their children and told other people, do not die unaware. Do not die in that child state. Awaken, submit that mind and that nonsense that I know. Submit, admit that you don't know. None of us can know. Allah alone knows. Humble yourself. Who will humble themselves before their Creator? No, I got my Guru, I got my Pandit. Well, Allah will show us where we differed. Who will humble themselves? That I have not yet made a conscious effort as an adult to get close to you. When guidance has come to me, I haven't really been interested in my relationship with you. I'm more interested in my relationship with my children. I want to take care of them. I'm not aware that you are taking care of us all. I want to be taken care of by my husband. I want him to take care of me. I'm not aware that you are taking care of us all. Oh, no, I want to take care of myself. I am denying that I can't take care of myself. That we are caused by you, we are continued by you, we are favored by you. When you remember Allah, you'll know who Allah is, as we can be aware, and you'll experience peace in your heart. When you become aware of Allah, you'll become aware of the value of guidance and how you can learn, grow, and develop. You'll be so thankful that I can learn, grow, and develop. 700 times or so, the Quran is talking about learning, growth, and development. It's a developmental process, not a brainwashing process. You know what I mean? When you become aware of Allah, you'll be thankful that you'll know how to live as an adult. You'll understand why the halal and tayyib is there. You'll understand why the Quran is telling you to do things. You won't do things as unconscious child picking and choosing. You'll do things as a really aware of the guidance and using that guidance. You'll be moving forward in your life. Satan would not be anywhere close to you. The Quran says Satan has authority over those who are not devout in the worship of Allah. Those devout in the worship of Allah, Satan has no authority. This doesn't mean become holy-moly and religious now. It means to become aware, call upon Allah. You see, you got to let go of your relationship of I'm taking care of me, my husband is taking care of me, I'm taking care of my children. You've got to stop making other people special. You've got to stop making this world special. And Satan doesn't want you to do that. Because this is why we've been given a great tool. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I recognize I'm in error. I recognize I'm not experiencing peace in this moment. I recognize Allah is a refuge that I can experience peace with. From Allah awareness, I can experience a peace. It's got nothing to do with me, what I do for my children, my husband, my wife, whatever they do for us, the government, whatever, the guru. It's got to do between me and my Creator. It's just between us and our Creator. And who will receive the guidance, and who will remember Allah, and in remembering Allah, their lives will not be depressed anymore. You see, it does start by speaking the truth to yourself. If you don't know where you are, you can't get to where you want to go. If you don't know, I'm not in Cape Town. I would like to visit Robben Island and the mountain, but I'm in Durban. I'm thinking I'm in Cape Town. You'll have all this convincing rationalization and projections as to why your life is not working out. And then the Quran says, wait and see. Look and see what has come to people who continued in these ways. Look and see what happened to people who failed to remember Allah, who failed to receive the mercy and the guidance, who failed to learn, grow, and develop. Look and see what happened. Wait and see. I'm not waiting to see anything. I've got the guidance. Every day I'm learning, growing, and developing. Every day I'm drawing closer and closer to Allah. You take one step towards Allah, He takes 10 towards you. Hadith Qudsi. I'm taking steps every day towards Allah. I'm getting closer and closer to Allah. And I feel good. That's all I can tell. I have every reason to feel good. I'm living with purpose. I'm living with a priority. I'm bringing to Allah a purified heart. I have every reason to look forward to my death and beyond. Shukr to Allah who's guided me to the path of human excellence, who strengthens me on the path of human excellence, the path of Iman, the path of Amal, the path of a life, tayyibun, in this world. Ease, joy, joyfulness, enjoyment, peace, power, prosperity, and paradise in the world beyond. Shukr to Allah. All praise, glory, and thanks is due to Allah Almighty. His choicest blessings upon us all, always. Peace and salutations among the prophets and messengers of Allah, especially the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.